Corey is our director. Let's let him just get a mic check on you.
Yes, if you could just count to 5 for me real quick.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Perfect. And is it possible for you to put your phone horizontally rather than vertically?
One moment.
Awesome. Thank you. Perfect. Thanks, man.
Yeah, that'll do fine. We've got a nice group of press already in the conference. If I eliminate probably an estimated 10, maybe it says 8 staff members, there's probably 35 press members on. So real good start to our first virtual conference this year. So thanks everybody for being on. Brian Custer, as you know, is your host. He's going to run us through. Leonard and Tom Brown, thank you. Brian, if you're ready, Corey, you can cue us when you're ready.
Great. Brian, take it away.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Happy New Year. I want to welcome you to the official press conference for Leo versus Fulton. I'm Brian Custer, the host of Showtime Championship Boxing, and I'm really here to let you know that Showtime Championship Boxing is back, and our first telecast of the new year will come your way next Saturday, January 23rd, and it features one of the most anticipated junior featherweight bouts. You've got the champion, the WBO junior featherweight champion, Angelo, who is unbeaten, taking on the unbeaten challenger, Stephen Fulton Jr., or as he goes by, Cool Boy Steph. It is presented by Premier Boxing Champions, and you, of course, can see that telecast in this event live on Showtime Championship Boxing, January 23rd. It will be live from the Mohegan Sun Arena in Uncasville, Connecticut. It comes your way at 9 p.m. Eastern. That is 6 o'clock Pacific time. The fight will be promoted by Mayweather Promotions and TGB Promotions, and it will be the main event, the culmination of really a 3-fight card, 3 meaningful fights from top to bottom on this fight card. In fact, the co-main features 2 really sensational, unbeaten fighters, as the unbeaten 122-pound contender Rais the Beast Alim takes on the unbeaten Vic Plasius, who is a hard-punching lefty. And these 2 will be fighting for the interim WBA title. Really, this is a meaningful fight because the winner of that fight automatically will fight for the world title in their next fight. So a really meaningful co-main. And then we begin the night with the rising Rolly Romero, who will be putting his interim WBA title on the line against Justin Paldo. It is a 12-round bout. And again, another meaningful fight as those guys look to climb up the ranks and become the regular world champion. 3 fights, but the big one, of course, the main event, the champ, Angelo, taking on Cool Boy Steph, Stephen Fulton Jr., a fight that was originally supposed to take place in August. Now it is taking place, one of the first fights of 2021. Let me introduce some of the promoters, obviously, for this fight. Let's start with the CEO of Mayweather Promotions. Here is Leonard Ellerby.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you for everyone for joining the call. In this main event, Leo versus Fulton, it is a hot fight. It is a highly anticipated fight that we've been waiting for and the fans have been waiting for ever since it was announced. And this is a fight, like Brian just mentioned, is a very, very meaningful fight for the division. The 122-pound division is probably the hottest division right now in boxing, right along with the lightweight division, because you have a number of fighters with great matchups that you can mix and match. But this fight right here with Leo and Fulton, everyone is anticipating this fight and everyone will be tuned in for this fight. You have Angelo Leo coming off of his tremendous victory against Tremaine Williams to win the WBO title. And that in that particular fight, That was his coming out party. Although he's fought on Showbox, a few other fights, but this was his coming out party. He was really, really impressive, and he made a big statement. And when it comes to Stephen Fulton, he definitely doesn't lack confidence. And that's the one thing that I do love about him. He's young, undefeated, he's talented, and he feels very, very confident. He's let the world know that this will be his easiest payday to date. He feels as though that he's going to walk right through Angelo, Leo. That's what makes for great fights. You have two young, undefeated fighters coming together, fighting in their prime. And that's really, really what it's all about. And it's a fight where Angelo, Leo, with he being the world champion, Stephen Fulton is a slight favorite. So again, this is a very, very good matchup. And we have a great co-main event. And then we're going to open the broadcast with Mayweather Promotions' own with Rolando Romero taking on Justin Paldo. And that's going to be a very, very exciting fight. Rolly is coming off a less than impressive fight in his last bout. So he'll be looking to make a big statement out there for the fans. And again, from top to bottom, this is a terrific card. And we're excited that all the fans will be tuning in. Can't wait.
All right. Thank you, Leonard. That's great. And one thing you do know about Mayweather Promotions, they match their fighters tough. If you're under that Mayweather Promotions banner, you earn it. They certainly put you in high quality matchups. That's exactly what we've got on January 23rd. Let me bring in now the president of TGB Promotions. He can talk to you about the rest of the undercard. And listen, this man's a Hall of Famer, and he's sitting there a Hall of Famer for matchmaking because he was one of the best in the business of putting high quality matches together. Here's Tom Brown.
Well, thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. Once again, Showtime is delivering on its promise to provide the fans with the most exciting and meaningful fights. And quickly on the main event, as you mentioned, Brian, one of the things that Mayweather Promotions prides itself on and should be applauded for is the development of their young fighters. They put them in tough, and they put them in tough early on. Now, you look at a kid like Stephen Fulton's record, and you won't find many young fighters that have been as tough and as against some impressive competition as Fulton has. 8 of his victories out of his 18 wins, they're over undefeated fighters. So, it's very impressive, and he's coming to grab what he believes is his and should have been his back in August. So we have a great main event. And then the co-feature is the fight that I'm really excited about with Rais Aleem and Victor Pasillas. This is a very important matchup of legitimate contenders in a 50-50 fight between two undefeated prospects in the hot 122-pound division. Both fighters have made it clear that they want the lead of the division, and they're willing to put it all on the line January 23rd to make that happen. So the winner of this fight really will be in the driver's seat for any of the 122-pound champions. Aleem, he's known as the Beast, 17-0, 11 KOs. He's big, strong, aggressive, and undefeated. He's got great footwork, great defense, and he's an all-action fighter. He's coming off a very impressive TKO victory in his last fight. It was a rematch with Marcus Bates, and Aleem just bullied him later in the fight to get that TKO victory. And Victor Pasillas, another undefeated, 16-0 with 9 KOs. He was a decorated amateur standout. He had close to 300 amateur fights. Fights out of a southpaw stance. And his style reminds me of a bit of a young Hector Camacho. He's coming off a very impressive win back in September over an undefeated prospect. He moved up to featherweight to help us out. And it was a real show-stealing, statement-making performance. So I got a feeling, once again, he and Aleem could be another show-stealing type performance with this fight. And Leonard mentioned a little bit about Raleigh. I've always been a big fan of Raleigh and all of his fights. He's got a real tough one in Justin Paldo in front of him. They always say styles make fights. Well, Paldo's got a style to really give Raleigh some fits and can pull off the victory here. He's got a tremendous jab. He's in great shape. He's down in Houston training with Ronnie Shields. and he's coming to win. So I think out of the 6 feature fights, we have maybe, one loss, only one loss between all of them. So we're going to see some O's go here on the 23rd. Looking forward to it. Thanks.
All right, Tom, thank you very much. And, you know, this is the beauty of this card, because from top to bottom, you're getting quality. And let's talk about, of course, the main event, world title fight, first title defense for Angelo Leo. And let's talk about his challenger first. The young man out of West Philadelphia, Stephen Fulton Jr., 18-0. 8 of those wins have come by knockout. He's 26 years young, was originally supposed to face Leo, and this was back in August when this fight was going to happen. And then obviously, Cool Boy Step came down with COVID-19, and this fight now taking place here in January. He is rated #1 by the WBO, unbeaten. And as you heard Tom talk about, he has a knack of knocking off unbeaten fighters. And in fact, he feasts on that and loves that he has been matched tough. You know, listen, his last outing, you saw him on Showtime, and he just dominated Arnold Haggai on his way to that unanimous decision. That was in January of last year on Showtime. So here he is, Cool Boy Steph, Stephen Fulton. Stephen, talk to us about how camp is going and your thoughts on this fight.
How y'all doing? First of all, I'd like to thank Al Heyman, Mayweather Promotions, Leonard Ellerby, the whole Showtime crew, Steven Espinoza, Chris, Tom Brown. I'd like to thank all of y'all first and foremost, because y'all all checked up on me during one of the moments in my life where I felt down after losing out on the opportunity in August. So I definitely would like to thank all of you first and foremost. January 23rd is going to be fireworks. He's a champion. He has that spark, that fire in him. He's coming to fight. I'm coming to fight. I'm coming hungry. We both coming hungry. So it's going to be a great matchup. I feel as though the fight is actually a little bit underrated because we're smaller guys, but me and him are the 2 top guys in the division. We're like the top 5 of including the world champ, the current world champs. So we're definitely going to make noise, and we both come to fight. We both have a chip on our shoulder. I feel like we both have something to prove. This fight is one of the biggest fights in the division. So I'm just ready to get it on. And once again, thank all of y'all for checking up on me during that down moment in my life, and appreciate y'all.
All right. Listen, it's great that you're healthy, ready to roll. Obviously, a big opportunity in your life is coming your way next Saturday. I know it's going to be a phenomenal. And let me just say this, that if anybody is sleeping on how big this fight is, it's the reason why you're the main event coming next weekend. So, no, this is a big one from top to bottom. Let me introduce the champion now. Angelo Leo, 20-0. 9 of his victories have come by knockout. Of course, he is 26 years young, just like Stephen from Albuquerque, New Mexico. He defeated Tremaine Williams. You saw that. In fact, he was the first fight from when we started the bubble there at Mohegan Sun Arena. It was Angelo Leo who set the tone for us when he won his WBO title on Showtime. He won it by unanimous decision, became the first champion from his hometown, obviously, of Albuquerque, New Mexico, since Johnny Tapia. He fights out of that Mayweather stable. Here is the champ, Angelo Leo. Champ, you have the floor.
How's it going, guys? Thank you guys for having me. I want to thank Mayweather Promotions, TGB, Premier Boxing, and all the Showtime crew for putting this fight together. It's going to be a great fight. I know Fulton's coming to fight. I'm coming to fight. It's going to be a great fight, 2 contrasting styles, sort of like the East Coast, West Coast thing. So it's going to be, fireworks, it's going to be one of the best fights, I think, this year. Hey, let's just see. January 23rd, it's going to be a great fight.
All right, champ. Appreciate it. By the way, I'm going to ask you guys just a few questions for members of the media. Since you guys are watching, I know you want to ask these guys some questions. All you got to do is hit the raise your hand bar and Chris de Blasio will acknowledge you. I'm going to ask these guys a couple of questions before we get to some of the media questions for you guys. And Champ, let me start with you, because as you heard Leonard allude to it, you know, on paper, a number of people say this is a 50-50 fight. But according to Vegas, where you reside now, Fulton is the slight favorite. Are you surprised or are you offended by that?
No, I'm not surprised at all. I know Fulton has a lot of supporters, but I've been an underdog before. I've been in these shoes before, so it's no surprise to me, and it just gives me more fuel to the fire.
Are you offended at all by that?
No, not at all. This is boxing, and Fulton is a good fighter, but I'm looking to prove something January 23rd, that I belong where I belong, and I'm world champion for a reason.
Cool boy, Steph. Listen, when you step in the ring next Saturday, it will be basically a year since you last fought. Listen, some of these fighters have found the layoff, that COVID-19 has had a bigger effect on their performance than they anticipated. Do you believe it will have an effect on your performance?
Not at all. I don't think it will affect anything, honestly. I think it made me more ready to, be in there, take some punches and give some punches. As a fighter, I think all fighters are crazy. Don't get me wrong. I think we all a little messed up in the head. but yeah, as a fighter, it's like, that's just what we like. And I'm ready to endure that come January 23rd.
Now, you've gotten an opportunity to see Leo fight in a world title fight and see how he fights when something big is on the line. Has your game plan for him changed now compared to what it was back in August when you were going to originally fight him?
My game plan remains the same, because I always thought smarter. If we need to make adjustments, then I'll make those adjustments. I do believe that I'm way better than I was going to be fighting the first go around.
In what way?
Mentally, physically, emotionally, just all around the board, just from losing all of those opportunities. And then now we're back here. Like I said before, it was like one of my lowest moments, losing that opportunity. And I actually cried about it. I felt like that was going to be it. And I wasn't going to get the opportunity again until later on down the line. And luckily, the great team that's all joining us today, put together this January 23rd. So just going through that just changed my mindset, the thought process that I've been having, the way I've trained and the way I've been fighting. And it just made me feel like I lose everything. Everyone knows how they feel when they feel like they lost something or lost everything that they had and that opportunity. And they know how that rage and that anxiety and everything that it gives you. So I'm just ready to fight at that point, at that moment.
Angelo, listen, your pressure and your body work is vicious. Do you believe that will be the difference in this fight and the reason why Stephen Fulton will suffer his first defeat?
That could be, I know I'm known for throwing a lot of body punches and pressure. It's no secret. But I feel like people haven't seen, all of me yet. I got a lot to prove. I still got a lot of looks to show. And come January 23rd, I think Stephen Fulton will bring that all out on me.
And how important do you think the body work is in a fight like this, where you have Fulton, who is, obviously a boxer, he can punch, but known for his boxing style and movement?
Well, it's important, I think it's important in every fight to go to the body. Like they say, go to the body and the head will fall. But if he wants to move, if he wants to put pressure, I got a remedy for all that.
Stevie, last year, two of your Philly natives lost their opportunity to be world titleists. Obviously, Julian J. Rock Williams lost his titles last year. Danny Garcia got shut out by Errol Spence Jr. To become a unified champ. With a victory, you would be the only world titleist right now from Philadelphia. So what would that mean to you? What do you think it means to the city?
To me, it means everything, because this is what I've been preparing for about 15, 16 years of my career, long-weighted career. To the city, it'll mean so much more, because it just show everyone from my neighborhood specifically that there is hope, there is a way out. You know, my neighborhood in my area, a lot of people like to call it the bottom. And, you know, when you make it from the bottom and make it feel like you're at the top, I mean, it's self-explanatory, but for me, there is no top. You know, we won't stop, can't be stopped.
Do you feel pressure at all, considering, you know, it's like you would be the only guy from Philly right now, and it seems like when these Philly natives got the opportunity, they come up short. Do you feel pressure?
No pressure at all. I don't feel pressure because, you know, like I said before, us boxers, us fighters, this game and this sport teaches us the discipline, teaches us for like moments like this, teaches us to know how to endure and deal with pressure. So no, I don't feel pressure at all. You know, I feel like I'm used to this. I feel like it's normal. This is a part of my everyday life, and it's a part of my job.
Angelo, I'm curious, what has Albuquerque been like now that you're a champion? That's number one. And then number two, what advice has your promoter, Floyd Mayweather, told you about your first title defense?
Well, I've only been to Albuquerque one time since I won the world title. And, you know, with all this COVID, I wasn't really able to go out. I wasn't really able to go out and all that. But, you know, I know on Facebook and Instagram, you know, they're really ecstatic that I won the world title, and I got a lot more followers and stuff like that. And a lot more people are congratulating me. But, you know, eventually, you know, when everything opens up and I start going out more, I know that, you know, they'll recognize me. And the second question, Floyd has just been telling me, you know, he's just been solidifying the game plan, you know, telling me what I need to do to win this fight. I seen him actually on Monday. I didn't see him too long because it was kind of brief because he was on the phone. Showtime was there, but he just stopped in to say hi and all that.
Stephen, last time we were all together, obviously you were by Zoom. Angelo had just won the world title. And you said, quote, Angelo, be ready. What do you have to say to him now? And will that streak of knocking off undefeated fighters continue on January 23rd?
Yes, it'll always continue because I come from poverty. It's what I'm made of. You know, everyone has their way of making it out and making it. And I guess that being undefeated fighters is one of my ways. You know, everyone has their thing. Tank thing is knocking people out. Mine's is taking everyone's O's. Chris B-Hop is looking flashy while he fight. We all have our things, and that's one of my things. Come fight time, like we both stated, Angelo, Leo, we will be prepared. We will be ready. You're a good fighter and you're a good kid. Keep up good work. Let's just put on a show, because I know, like you stated before, you are, how would I say, underlooked or overlooked? How would I put that? Either way, just come ready to fight.
Champ, I'm going to give you the last word here. What advice would you give Stephen Fulton for this fight? And will you be the first one to stop him?
Advice would be just, you know, be ready. Exactly that. You know, what else? I don't have much advice to give him, but just be ready, you know, and come January 23rd, give it your all. I give it my all, and just give the fans what they want to see.
You think you'll be the first person to stop him?
Could be, yeah, you could be. You know, we're gunning for it, but if it doesn't, we're going for the W for sure. Got it. I know a number of media people here are watching. They want to ask questions. Just hit the raise your hand icon there. And Chris de Blasio, our Vice President of Communications, will acknowledge you. So, Chris, I'm going to give you the floor so you can let the first media member ask their question.
Thank you, Brian. So as usual with these press Zooms, when you are cued and I introduce you, you're going to have to unmute your computer microphone in order to ask your question. So ask for your patience while we get our first couple of press members on the line. David Melandra Jr., you're with the Philly Voice. You can unmute and ask your first question. Go ahead. Having a bit of a problem unmuting David. We're going to go to our next question. We'll try to get David back in there. Let's go to Keith Eidick with BoxingScene.com. Keith?
Hey, Steven, how you doing? Hey, Chris, my thing's working now.
Okay, there you are, David. Let's go ahead, David.
Hey, Steven, just want to get your initial thoughts. Like, when you first found out that you tested positive for this fight, how deflating was it? And then now does it feel to get back in the ring and say, that's it, I'm putting Philadelphia in my back and I'm ready to take it on?
How you doing? First off, how you doing? It was depressing. I felt bad. My body felt bad. And I just was really depressed. But through the support from everyone that I was getting, it was like, it kind of like lifted me up a little bit. But I still had to deal with it. I still had to watch the fight, knowing that was supposed to be me fighting. And things like that just made me a better man, better person, just changed my mindset.
And from here, what does it mean to represent the city of Philadelphia in a big-time title fight like this?
Oh, it means everything. You know, I'm one of the guys now, and I'm one of the new era leaders for Philadelphia boxing. So I just got to put on the show, perform, be myself, relax, stay calm, be smart first and foremost, and just do my job, do what we came here to do.
All right, thank you. Good luck next week.
Appreciate that.
Okay, David, thanks. Keith?
Yeah, Stephen, you touched on it a little earlier, but what was it like for you that week? You go up to Mohegan Sun expecting to fight for a world title, then you find out you test positive. Just the range of emotions and everything that you went through, and also how long did it take you to recover from the virus itself?
It took me about even 13, 14 days, honestly. I'm just gonna break it down. When I got out there, my body started feeling a little weird, like I was a little shaky at times, and I woke up in cold sweats here and there, but I just didn't know what it was. Like I didn't expect that because I just had a negative test before I left, so things was a little messed up. As far as breathing, everything was good. I would run, take off on the treadmill when I stopped, about 5 minutes in the stop, and then my body would go back to feeling a little funny, but I didn't know what it was. I just didn't know what it was. So that was kind of confusing to me that my body wasn't cooperating with me leading up to this fight. But in my mindset and where I'm from, I'm still like, F it. We gonna get in there, we gonna rumble. So that's how I still was thinking. But my body, everything was like messed up. So it kind of messed my mindset up. I'm like, yo, what is going on with my body? I gotta focus on for this fight. I gotta lose weight, and I'm not worrying about my body. So those are some of the things that I was just thinking and going through.
When was that when you started feeling that way?
I started feeling that way like a day before I actually went in a hotel, but it was like on and off. So I would still have my confidence, like, oh, no, I'm okay, I'm good. Then soon I would get there, lay down, go to sleep, and I wake up, I just feel terrible. And then it just restarts. It was like an up and down thing for me.
So that was early in fight week, in other words.
Not so much early. It was like the fight week.
The fight week. Okay. And then you tested positive on which day? Was it Tuesday or Wednesday?
I believe Wednesday. Wednesday.
And then you said it took about 2 weeks or so before you started feeling back to normal?
Yep. And they kicked us out the hotel.
How long was it before
Listen, when they kicked us out the hotel, I felt like SHIT. I'm like, damn, look how they treated me. But I knew it wasn't nothing personal. Nobody wants to get sick, and I understand. And by having it, I understand why so many people have lost their lives and that type of thing. So I like to say, much love to everybody that had it, and healthy recovery for everyone.
And how long was it before you could go back to training, Stephen?
I actually took I caught it in August, September. I think I went back in like October. I gave myself some time because I knew that working out and running while you have it can permanently mess your lungs up. it'll mess your breathing up. So I took some time off of it. I needed sorry to cut you up, and I needed that time to mentally get myself back together.
No problem. And when did you start to feel like, when you went back to training, when did you maybe start to feel like yourself, your old self?
Well, late November, early December, I started feeling back normal. You know, that it takes time to really get your breathing back.
Thanks for your time, Stephen.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Keith. Stephen, I'm sure the promotion had everyone's safety in mind, and hopefully got you back to Philadelphia to rest and recover. It was not personal, not meant to be harmful. It was meant to be everyone's best interest, including yours. So, Keith, thank you. Let's go to Jeremy Herridges. Jeremy, fansided.com. You can unmute and go ahead.
Hi, Angelo. Hi, Stephen. First question is to Angelo. Angelo, you know, this is your first time defending your title, first time fighting as champion. That word champion, does that give you added confidence and something extra to fight for?
Oh, definitely. Being champion is something I always wanted to be. So now that I got it, you know, I got the confidence, but I don't take my foot off the gas, you know, just because I'm champion. You know, they say that once you're champion, it's harder, you know, it's harder because now, as bad as you want it, now everybody else wants it just as bad as you do. But my mentality is the same, you know, world champion, and I'm gunning for more world champions. So I'm not the hunted, I'm still hunting, you know, and but it definitely gives me added confidence. They also say when you become champion, it's 20% harder to win, to beat the champion. So that's just something to think about. But yeah, it does give me confidence.
Stephen, you watched Leo's performance against Williams. What did you take away from that in terms of your opinion of Leo? What did you think about his performance, and did he impress you in that fight?
I think his performance was what I expected. I expected him to come forward and try to be a dog. I expected that. Now, Tremaine didn't expect that, I don't think. And I like that's why the fight went a lot like it went. But he's a good fighter. You know, he's a champion for a reason. He earned his way here, and now we just had to fight.
I think looking on paper, you know, both of you have similar statistics as far as size, record, things of that nature. The one thing that seems to be an outlier, at least to me, Stephen, is on your record, you've beaten a total of 7 fighters that have been undefeated. Do you think that your resume gives you a strength in this fight?
For sure. I believe my resume is one of the reasons why the odds are the way they are. You know, resumes and those such things make certain fights. It makes the fighter. And if I'm beating 7 undefeated fighters and the guys that I'm going up against are not, the odds are going to look the way they look, because it's a bigger chance that I'm going to win the fight because I had those type of caliber fighters on my resume.
Final question for Angelo. Angelo, Stephen's saying that he's seen you fight. He knows what to expect. What do you think that you're going to show him that he hasn't seen before?
It's different. You know, when you get in the ring, there's a lot more factors that play out, not just pressure and not just body work, but there's a lot of things that I got up my sleeve that a lot of people haven't seen yet. And come January 23rd, I want to be able to showcase all my skills.
Thank you both, and best of luck to you both next weekend.
Thanks.
All right, thanks, Jeremy. We have time for a few more questions here. Let's go to Carlos Toro. Carlos Toro Media started his own site. Go ahead, Carlos.
Thank you, Angelo and Stephen, for taking time to talk to us. You know, first question to Angelo. Did you feel like at fight week, you know, after the fight got changed from Stephen Fulton to Tremaine Williams, did you feel like you have to make some sort of mental adjustment or anything to the game plan to sort of make up for the fact that you're going to facing a completely different opponent with just days in advance?
Definitely. I believe that. What was the question again?
Did you feel like you have to make an adjustment to your game plan or to how you've had to sort of handle things for Tremaine as compared to when you were preparing for Stephen Fulton back in August?
Yeah, definitely had to make some adjustments. I was a little disappointed because, you know, all up leading up to the fight, you know, we prepared for a righty, and then 3 days before the fight, you know, we got a monkey wrench and Tremaine Williams, and he's a southpaw, so you know we had to make a few adjustments. But you know, like a true champion, you can adjust, you can always adapt, and I adjusted. I did what I had to do. You know, when I'm in shape like that, there was nothing that was going to stop me. And that night, you know, I was going to become world champion.
Stephen kind of alluded to this earlier in the call that not just him, but you also have something to fight for and something to prove. Do you kind of feel, do you share his sentiments that you also, even though you're the champion, you sort of have something to prove to the world on January 23rd?
Of course. You know, I have a lot to prove. This is just the beginning for me. So I have a lot of doubters that are doubting me. I'm the underdog. So it's just all fuel to the flame.
Stephen, was it frustrating, you know, not just watching Angelo fight for the title back in August, but there were part of you that kind of thought that you not only lost a chance, but you sort of lost a chance maybe indefinitely because the nature of the sport always changes. Did you feel like you may have lost that potential title fight back then?
Yep, that's why I was crying.
Well, you seem, I'm glad that you're in much better spirits and you got the fight. Do you sort of view that now looking back as a sort of blessing in disguise as, you know, getting now that you've gotten over the hump mentally, but also have more time to prepare for Angelo?
Oh, yeah, it is a blessing. And honestly, it's a blessing that we have a great team like we have of those I stated to give thanks to be able to make this possible once again.
Thanks, Angelo and Stephen. Best of luck to the both of you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Carlos. Let's go to Sochi Hayashi with Yahoo Sports out of Japan. Sochi, can you hear us? Stand by while we try to get Sochi to unmute.
Can you hear me?
We hear you now, yes.
Okay. Yes, just one question to Angelo. Do you have any particular emotion about Johnny Tapia, your hometown champion?
Yeah, I do. You know, Johnny was he's the pride and joy of Albuquerque, and he's one of the greatest fighters from that city. And to be mentioned with his name is an honor. You know, Johnny Tapia was a real good people, very charismatic, and he showed everybody love.
Thank you. That's it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Sochi. Let's try Michael Rueda with Sunday Puncher. Michael?
Hey, sorry, it's 26 Sports, not sorry about that.
Excuse me. No, my fault, Michael. Go ahead.
No problem. All right, so I got two questions. One's going to be for Stephen first. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Leonard, Stephen, Tom, Brian. But for Stephen, my question for you is, in the original moment, you know, you had the title opportunity. You come down with COVID. Now you get another opportunity here. Has it hit you yet that it's a world title shot, or has it kind of calmed down now that, you know, it's pretty much the second time that you're getting this fight?
I wouldn't say that it all the way calmed down. It just made me more calmer dealing with training and everything. It just made like, all right, this is normal. I've been prepared for this the first time. Let's just get this done. Let's just get the job done now. And that's what happened.
So any anxiety or anything like that, nervousness has pretty much left your system for it?
Yeah.
Definitely. Perfect. All right. And I'm glad to see you doing better and in good spirits as well, man.
Thanks.
All right. And for Angelo, now you won the title. Of course, you know, the original fight was with Stephen Fulton, but you performed really well against Tremaine Williams. Now that you have this fight again, pretty much the same question. Do you have any anxiety or nervousness, or now that you have the belt, has that pretty much left your system as well?
Yeah, no anxiety at all, you know, not at all. I've been working to fight Fulton for, I would say, since May or June. So, you know, everything, all the game plan we worked on, you know, is all coming more natural. So, you know, come fight night, it'll be a good fight.
Perfect. And actually, Sochi stole my question about Johnny Tapia for you. So, it kind of took my second question. But either way, man, thank you guys for having me on here. Great call so far, and hope the best for both of you. And again, Steven, man, I'm happy that you're recovered and ready for this fight. And Angelo, looking forward to it as well.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you, Michael. Beg your pardon on that affiliation. Let's go to John Cuddy with Sunday Puncher, also representing Reddit Boxing. John, can you unmute and go?
I'm unmuted. I think I'm good here.
There you are. Yep. Thank you.
Great. So this is a question for both of you. I'll direct to Angelo first, the champ. You guys are both young and undefeated. A lot of young fighters are reluctant to take risks. Just want to hear what it means to you to take this risk at this point in your career, especially since you already won the title. If you had any reluctance to go into the Stephen Fulton fight, or if you had any option to take a different fight after winning the title.
No, actually, this fight had, I think I'd signed the contract already after, before, like 2 days before I fought Tremaine Williams, that I was going to fight Fulton after. So, I've always knew that he was the next opponent for me. And, this fight is great for boxing. You got two undefeated fighters, both in their prime. What more do you want from two fighters in this boxing and in this era,
Great, thanks. Same question, Stephen, about being a young fighter. I know you've already faced a bunch of young undefeated fighters, but still interested hearing what you have to say about that. What it means at this point in your career to take this kind of risk, and where you hope to stand coming out of this fight.
I mean, no risk, no reward, and I don't think this is a risk. This is an opportunity. He's the world champ. Gotta respect that. This is not a risk at that point. The risk I was taking was fighting those other undefeated fighters, or the risk I was taking was how I got here. But there's no risk once you're fighting a champion. This is what it is now. So, but I feel great, and I'm respect to everybody and ready to fight.
Okay, one more question here. So, again, to Angelo first. So the sport of boxing has a great, exciting wave of young fighters coming in, guys like Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia. I could list many more. Are you hoping after this fight to be, if you aren't already, among that group of guys? I mean, can you talk about your ambition, what kind of statement you're trying to make with this performance?
With this performance, I plan to just, let everybody know that I'm here to stay, that I think a lot of people are doubting me just because I fought Tremaine Williams and they say it was a 3D notice, but, he was getting ready for a fight as well. So I got a lot of doubters. I want to prove them wrong. And in this fight, I think I'll have the opportunity to.
Very good, thanks. Stephen, same question with, the wave of hot young fighters in the sport. What are people going to be saying about you coming out of this fight?
Honestly, I am in that wave. They're just ready for me to stamp it by getting this belt. They have that superstar quality. It's just in me. So after this fight, it's just going to already solidify what we already knew.
Okay, thanks a lot, both of you. I love the confidence on both sides. Good luck to you both.
Thanks.
Okay, John, thanks a lot. Let's just have a last question. Time for one more here. Let's go to Marcos Villegas, Fight Hub. Marcos?
Thanks, Chris. This question is both to Stephen and Angelo. But Stephen, I got to ask before I ask the question, that statue there, what is that?
That's Einstein.
Okay, I thought it was Einstein. Yeah. Einstein's a fascinating guy, so props to you on that. I love Einstein. So Stephen and Angelo, and I can start with you, Stephen. When you look at your division, to you guys, what is the marquee fight you feel to make in your division? And I'll start with you, Stephen.
This one right now, once we get past this is the marquee fight for me. I have to get this first. I have to. Moving forward, we need unification bouts. It don't matter whichever belt holder. So it don't really matter.
Angelo?
But if I had to pick one, sorry about that. If I had to pick one, I will go for the one who got all the belts, MJ. But if not, Louis Neri.
And Nary would be an awesome fight for either or. But Angelo, what do you make of that? What do you see as like the marquee fight? If you get past this, what's the one fight do you feel in the division that really is the marquee fight?
Like Fulton said, you know, this is the marquee fight right here. You know, two undefeated fighters, two contrasting styles. So this is the fight right here to see. But you know, unification bouts with MJ or Luis Netti.
Excellent. You know, certainly, I hope those are possible. Whoever wins the fight, that'd be great to see that. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate that, and wish you a healthy rest of your guys' camps.
All right, thank
Appreciate that.
Okay, thank you, Marcos. That's it for press questions. Let's go back to you, Brian Custer.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. I want to thank all the media members for joining us, and just want to give you a reminder. Look, it's the main event. Showtime Championship Boxing coming your way January 23rd from the Mohegan Sun Arena in Uncasville, Connecticut. It will be the first fight of the year for Showtime Championship Boxing, and you can't get a better main event than the WBO Junior Featherweight title. Angelo Leo, the champion, making his first title defense against the unbeaten Stephen Fulton Jr. Cool boy Steph. It is presented by Premier Boxing Champions, promoted by Mayweather Promotions, TGB Promotions as well. A 3-fight card. And of course, Leo, Fulton Jr., they're the main event. The co-main, Rais Alim, Vic Pasillas. And then we open the night with Raleigh Romero taking on Justin Paldo. So, folks, we will see you January 23rd. It's Leo, the champ, against Fulton. We'll see you then. Have a great afternoon.
Low. Better. Better. Low. Better. All right, that worked actually. Low. All right, that worked actually. All right, cool. Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys all kicking it, watching the press conference together. Yeah, H, we got to thank you, man. Yeah, it was fun, man. We're gonna get back to it. That press conference was cool. This fight is gonna be good. This whole this whole card is going to be good. I'm excited to see Rolly back. I know he has something to prove after that last fight that was a little, you know, iffy there. Man, talking about some of the potential fights we were talking about with like Taylor and Ramirez, that's going to be a great fight. That's definitely going to happen because there's no politics issue. We got to really kind of think. I mean, normal times is already we got to think about like promoters actually working together, right? But especially right now with no like gate and stuff, it's a lot harder. So we'll see. We'll see how that. Yeah, Rolly's on the undercard of this fight. I want to say he opens it. Who is it against? I just saw it on the thing. Who was it? Paldu. Something Paldu? I don't know. I've never heard of that dude. But yeah, it's gonna be good stuff. I'm hyped to check that out. This is the same night. It's a little rough for them, but luckily it's on regular Showtime. But it's the same night McGregor fights. So, you know, a lot of attention is going to be going to that. So hopefully they put the cards on early because I want to watch both. Or I'll just set up 2 TVs, whatever it takes. Because as boxing fans, we got to do that stuff, you know. I've had 3 TVs set up at one point. I had 2 TVs and the computer set up watching fights. Top Rank putting on good fights during the pandemic. Yeah, man, they are. They really, really are. They put on some good productions too. Just, you know, obviously they have ESPN and stuff, but like Berlanga's a beast. I really want to see Berlanga against some like kind of top, like higher competition for sure. These guys have never been knocked out before. That's great. But he's still knocking him out. Still knocking him out in the first round. So we got to, you know, he needs competition. The kid needs some rounds, you know. Like who's that dude that Caleb won his championship from? Uskatagi. That might be a little too much at this point. I don't know how much, you know, Uskatagi's still a pretty decent fighter. Who do you think will win, Leo Fulton? Man, I don't know. I haven't seen a whole lot of both of them. I feel like I'm leaning more towards Fulton. Yeah, I mean, you know, like I don't know, like you know, the old timers used to say, like, if you don't know who's fighting and one guy's from Philly, pick that guy. You know what I mean? So I kind of go with that, you know. 'Cause Philly fighters are tough, man. Elvis Rodriguez. Yeah, it's another good fighter. Yeah, Uskatagi. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, man. I think I probably lean more towards Fulton, but you know, Leo, like, you know, Mayweather, they try to pick, you know, like they have an eye for talent. You know what I mean? So so we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. It's a great fight though. It's a great fight. It's cool that Neary's part of the same. It's part of PBC, so that makes it a little easier for some of that stuff to come, you know, like to come about afterwards. Yeah, that's man, that's a good first boxing card of the year. Good first main event. You know what I mean? Let's see. This is a good fight. Should be on Fox so more people can watch it. I agree. I just think maybe it doesn't have like the name recognition that like Fox would want. But I agree though. It's a great matchup. The more eyes on it, the better. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it's kind of the I wonder how Showtime. I wonder if Showtime's going to stick with boxing for a whole lot longer. I don't know. I like, you know, HBO left it. You know, if you're paying for Showtime, you're probably not paying for the boxing necessarily. It's just kind of an extra thing because a lot of their big fights tend to be on pay-per-view anyway, you know. Okay, are you cool with Terrence Crawford? I like Terrence Crawford. I love Terrence. I love Terrence Crawford. As cool as dude. I remember the first time I interviewed him. You know, he's not like these guys like you know, like Floyd, who was savvy with the media, and like, you know, just people who like it. Like Ryan likes the media. You know what I mean? He likes talking. You know, like to the media and things like that. Terrence is a little, you know, wants to get in and get out. But when it also just kind of depends. I mean, like if guys are in a good mood, like they're hyped. I remember talking to Terrence the second or third time I ever talked to him. He was hyped to talk to me. He was hyped to, you know, I thought Terrence was the best fighter in the world. I feel like now probably Canelo maybe has leapfrogged him a little bit, but you know, there's an argument there. There's argument there. And I understand the argument, you know. Can you do more live streams like forever? Yeah, man. I really need to. You know what, man? I've been actually working on some stuff. You know what? Maybe I could preview it to you guys. You know what? I'm gonna see if I could preview it for you guys because I've been working on some stuff. So as you can see, the logo's different. I've been working on the logo, changed that up, and then I have a new intro as well. Let me see if I have the intro on here so I can play for you guys. Let's see. Oh yeah, so here's the new intro. I'll play it for you guys so you guys can check it out. Tell me what you guys think. Here, I'll play it again without the logo. Yeah, so that's a new intro for the show. So, but I was working on that. Thank you, brother. Thank you, man. I appreciate it, H Money. Yeah, man. I was working on that. I have a new. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I have a new intro for the for my game show too, so I'm gonna be bringing that back. But yeah, man, I think I'm gonna do more live streams. H Money I like talking to you guys. I miss just talking fighting, man. You know, normally I talk to fighting a lot with, you know, my colleagues and other press and things like that when we're at the fights, but I can't do this anymore, you know. Do you think what do you think about Adrian Broner? You know, I'm just happy Adrian Broner's back. It's just good, just on like a just pure human level. Like I want to see Adrian Broner win. You know what I mean? Like I like AB. He's always been cool with me. You know, I have no qualms with AB. Like I hope he does well. I think it's probably a good fight, man. I'm like a good comeback fight for him. Like I don't, you know, in all honesty, if you're looking out for AB, you probably want to build his confidence. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, with that, you know, you got to give him a guy that, you know, he could probably truck. You know what I mean? Because you want to build his confidence. AB's a solid talent, and he makes money. He brings attention to the sport. He's a polarizing figure. Like he's funny. You know, a lot of these guys and like when you look at Conor McGregor not only made it because of his great talent and because he is really good, but because he's very funny and he was able to back it up. You know what I mean? He said, "Better not lose to that fight." Yeah, better not. That's true. That's very true. What do you think Danny Garcia should fight Ugas or Jesse Vargas? Man, both of those fights are good. Both of those fights are good. See, the thing about like when like all those guys, like all those kind of big welterweights with PBC, I almost don't expect to see them for like a good, you know, 6 months or so after they fight once. So like now that Danny has won, you know, has just fought obviously in December, and it was a huge fight, it was a huge payday, all that stuff. I don't know, man. I don't see Danny fighting for a good maybe like 5-6 months. You know, he's not like a guy, just like again, like you know, they don't like I feel like the big PBC welterweight names like don't fight that often, which is sad because obviously we want to see them more. I love those are great fights. I love the Ugas. See, the problem with Ugas, man, and I got love for Ugas. I like Ugas. He's good. I think he's very dangerous, but that's a problem. He's good and very dangerous, and he doesn't have like a big following. He doesn't, you know, Ugas Jesse Vargas, I think would be good. You know, to be honest, Danny Garcia versus either of those guys are good. And I think Danny probably beats both of those guys. But you know, those are actually solid Danny Garcia comeback fights, because at this point you kind of want to build Danny Garcia up. I mean, not to say like he's that low on the totem pole, right? But he did lose to Thurman. He did lose to Porter. So I mean, if there's a guy lower on the rung of those PBC guys, I mean, yeah. And then, you know, do you really want to see Danny Thurman again? Do you really want to see Danny Porter again? You know, those are great matchups. I like that. What do you think about Jojo stopping? Bro, that fight was incredible, man. Joe Joyce is just has a chin and is very robotic but that jab is like just a pounding sledgehammer, man, from a big ass dude. Joe Joyce is a big ass dude. And for him to just pop that so fast, like that's a lot of weight coming behind that jab. And he's so tough. He just takes shots like crazy, bro. Like that's just take shots like crazy. His chin's incredible. I think Dubois comes back. I think, you know, he's gonna come back. He's gonna hopefully he comes back better. You know, you always have that kind of question of when a guy takes a knee like that. You know, people start questioning heart and things like that. Yeah, I mean, the guy's eye was messed up, man. Maybe he just realized it just wasn't his day. You know what I mean? People come back better from stuff like that. You know, Vitaly quit against Chris Bird, feather fisted Chris Bird because his torn rotator cuff, and he was winning the fight even. So, you know, and Vitaly ended up becoming, you know, like the best heavyweight at the time. So after that, so, you know, hopefully Dubois comes back and does well for himself. But Joe Joyce is on the is obviously took the step forward, man. And you know, Usyk is cool. I don't think Usyk's going to be down for it, because what does it matter to Usyk? You know what I mean? To beat Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce is kind of, I don't know. I wonder who, you know, maybe he gets like a Dillian White. Him and Andy Ruiz would be a solid fight. You know, Joe Joyce has put himself in that tier of heavyweight that's, you know, now you're kind of showing your mettle as to, do you get one of like the big three, right? Like Wilder, Fury, Joshua. I still consider Wilder part of that elite. That elite. Obviously, he doesn't have a belt anymore, but you know, he's right there. You know what I mean? Jared Anderson. What I've seen of him, he looks cool. Still developing. But he's a big boy. Good power, obviously. You know, he just got to develop. He's young. He's how many fights does Anderson have? Like, isn't it like around or under 10 or around 10, something like that? Let's see, Demetrius Andrade. You know, that's the fight I know Matchroom wants to make. See, the problem now with that fight is, before it was kind of like, you know, whoever wins that fight might get a Canelo fight, depending on what Canelo wants to do, because Canelo was kind of still 160, and then he moved up to 175. Obviously fought Rocky Fielding at 168, but now it's like legit he's going to stay at 168. You know what I mean? And so now everyone's holding onto the belts like a golden ticket, because they realize they it's like Willy Wonka, man. They all have it. You know, like whoever has a belt, like Plant, Billy Joe Saunders. Who has the other one? Oh, so and I guess Canelo has the other two, right? The WBA and the WBC. So yeah, if you're Plant and you're Billy Joe, or no, which belts does no WBA and the WBC Canelo has, because Billy Joe has the WBO and then Caleb Plant has the IBF. So yeah, if you're Caleb Plant or Billy Joe Saunders, why would you take a difficult fight? You know what I mean? When Canelo says he wants all the belts, and there's only two names really that, you know, kind of matter at the division as far as belt wise. You know, unfortunately, we were talking on the chat, man. David Benavidez is kind of getting frozen out, which sucks because David Benavidez is a great fighter, and Benavidez Plant is an incredible fight. Benavidez versus any of these guys is an incredible fight. You know, these guys fighting each other is these guys are all kind of at the height of their powers. They're all young, all in their prime. But I don't know if you take that Andrade fight if you're Billy Joe Saunders. I don't know. I mean, not if you were that close to fighting Canelo, and that's, you know, you might lose to Andrade, and then, you know, now you never get the shot to prove that, you know, what you've been saying over there, that you're great over there. And you look, you know, Billy Joe Saunders looks like a solid fighter. But you know, I think he's well, who are the biggest names on Billy Joe's resume? What the dude he got the title from, what was the Irish guy's name? The American Irish dude. Do you know what I'm talking about? H Money. Yeah, the guy who knocked out, who like closed his eyes and like hit that undefeated prospect with like a right hook, or I think he's southpaw. Who was I see his face in my. He was like part of Fury's camp. Damn it! Who did Billy Joe Saunders win the damn title from? I can't. Green? No, what's his name? Anyway, I can't think of his name. I'll remember it probably when I'm off of here. But yeah. So I you know, who knows what happens with that? But if I was Billy Joe Saunders, I wouldn't. I'd just wait, and especially if you're Matchroom and Canelo's like cool with Matchroom, kind of still flirting with Matchroom a little bit as far as like promotion wise and stuff. If I'm Billy Joe Saunders, I don't fight Andrade. That sucks for Andrade because he deserves it and he's a great fighter too. But you know, just the chips fall where they are, you know. Any word when Andy Ruiz is returning to the ring? I don't know, but I have seen Andy Ruiz with Reynoso, and man, he looks. Yeah, I don't know if you saw that same video I saw where he's like showing his stomach and he has like, you know, like peaking abs a little bit. I don't want to say abs, just maybe not as much of a stomach. But man, he looks good. What I want to say the idea, last I heard, he was it was like the Chris Arreola fight was like the fight to be made for him when it was pre-pandemic. It was supposed to be, you know, here at Staples Centers here in LA, so you know, get a lot of like a lot of the gente that comes out to watch that. I think that's still the plan, is for him to fight Chris Arreola, but you know, who knows what's going to happen with that now. With I would think that's still the fight to make, really. I mean, Andy Ruiz, you got to, you know, get him in shape, get him a good fight. Chris Arreola's coming off of that. Chris Arreola's coming off of that fight with that Polish dude, Kalsnecki or whatever, where they like Andy Lee. Thank you, H Money. Andy Lee, thank you. He's Irish, right? Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, I think Andy Ruiz comes back with Chris Arreola, and you're right, bro. Like, Andy Ruiz is in shape, so whoever Andy Ruiz fight is going to have a big problem. And Andy Ruiz really, you know, because he was the unified heavyweight champ, because he does have that, you know, like feather in his cap and knocking out Anthony Joshua. You know, Andy Ruiz is you know, maybe like a big fight or a nice performance, you know, away from kind of really talking about this stuff again, you know, like kind of getting his name back in there again, I think. You know, depending on what happens with Wilder, Andy Ruiz is PBC, you know what I mean? So well, depending on what happens with Wilder and Fury and their issue or whatever, you know what, that could be a potential matchup right there. That's a good matchup too. Billy Joe Saunders best win. Oh, John Ryder, Lemieux. Yep. Yeah. That's true. Those are some solid wins. You're very right. Those are some solid wins. Yeah, and I'm telling you, he has a golden ticket right now. You don't let go of that golden ticket when Canelo's in the area. You know what I mean? Bro, I've been wanting to see that since Andy Ruiz won the title. And they like each other. They're cool, nice guys. I remember when they were at what was it, Pacquiao and Thurman, I think, and Andy was champ at the time, and they were like talking. It was cool to see them. That's a good fight, man. That's a good scrap. Oh, I didn't know Wilder was calling out Andy Ruiz. Good. I'm telling you, that's the fight to make for PBC. Having no belts now, like that's kind of the fight to make. Former champ against former champ. They're both stars in their own right. Like that's a great matchup. I love that matchup. Imagine that atmosphere, like in Vegas or in Staples Center or something. Woo, and then you got, Andy Ruiz has a great chin. I mean, he got dropped by Joshua, but Andy Ruiz, when he fell back, he kind of looked up and was already like, okay, like he just realized I'm on the ground. All right, let me get back up, and that's when he dropped the AJ after that, because his chin's solid, and man, Andy Ruiz's has fast hands, and his low stature. That's a good fight for that. He has a good stylistic. He could give Wilder some stylistic issues, but man, Wilder being so powerful, and Andy, just being like man, you got me hyped on starting to think about that. Oh, Wilder called Andy Ruiz. I gotta watch that, man. I gotta watch. I gotta find out where that happened. I missed that show. I watched Red Show, but man, some of those run long, so I'll be on there for a little bit, and then I don't last the whole time. Fantasy fight: Floyd versus Aaron Pryor. Man, you gotta lean Floyd, but man, Aaron Pryor's suffocating style would have been problems. Would have just gave a lot of people problems. But Floyd is very underrated when it comes to, like, you couldn't just decide to fight Floyd on the inside and he wasn't going to just oblige you. You know what I mean? Like, he's not that fight. Like, he did those subtle things very good, where he'd tie up, things like that's why the Pacquiao Mayweather fight wasn't that great, because every time Pacquiao kind of jumped in, they'd kind of grab each other. Not like Pacquiao's an inside fighter anyway, but like Pryor was just suffocating, wanted to be in your face, and I don't know. That's a good fight. I think you'd still probably lean Floyd. I'd probably still lean Floyd on Pryor versus Floyd, but that's one where you're kind of like, well, let's see, let's see if that's going to work, because Pryor, whose will is going to prevail. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what that fight's like. It's a great one though. That's a great matchup. I'm still thinking about Wilder versus Andy Ruiz, man. I gotta watch that. I'm gonna ask Fred where that I'm gonna search Fred's channel and see where that's at. So now, yeah. I remember. You remember those legendary nights on HBO? Those were dope. But even in that, Pryor talked about how Leonard ducked him. Now Leonard was bigger, and so it was kind of one of those, like, it's kind of like saying, like, maybe Crawford's ducking like Ramirez or something, or like the winner of Ramirez Taylor, like, like they're smaller, right? So it's not, it also could be seen as picking on him almost. But ooh, I like this one. Andre Ward versus James Toney. Ooh, man. Wow. Wow. Damn, that's a good one, bro. That's a good one, H Money. I think you probably lean. I think I'd have to lean Ward. Man, at 168. Oh wow, that's good. I feel like I would lean towards Ward, but man, Tony could hit, especially at 168. The problem with Tony is sometimes he would get a little too complacent, like doing the shoulder roll thing, and was just too complacent looking for openings. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes they didn't come. If you weren't like recklessly aggressive, like Vasily Girov was like just aggressive and wanted to be in your face, and James Toney was gonna eat him up all day, you know? Like Ward's not like that at all. Ward himself is like has a good defense. Ward's jab is really good, and he was consistent with it. Damn, it's a good one. That's a good one, H. But I feel like I would lean more towards Ward, I think, on that one. Oh, okay, about a month ago. Yeah, he called in. I remember watching some of that. But I didn't catch that part about Andy Ruiz. Legendary Nights. Woo! Oh yeah, bro. Those were must see TV, man. I wonder HBO probably has those, right? On demand. I wonder where those are at. But man, if just that was just good television. Even if you didn't enjoy boxing, that was just great television. What were some of the other ones? The De La Hoya Trinidad was another one. Vargas Taylor wasn't, or Vargas Chavez Taylor was another one. That was a great one. I think they talked about who's the Polish guy that kept hitting Bo in the nuts. To do with the big eyes. Damn, I'm drawing a blank on what was his name? Lou Duva was his trainer. What's that guy's name? Andrew Galata. Good shit, H. Good shit, buddy. Good stuff, man. Yeah. That. Remember when it was in that in the Legendary Nights where of Galata Bow, where freaking Andrew Galata, they put like trunks on the heavy bag. And they were having Andrew Galata like hit above the truck so he wouldn't. Come on, bro. Come on. But Andrew Galata knew exactly where Bo's nuts were because he kept hitting him, even in the second fight. It's fucking terrible. Let's see. Andre Ward was a dog. Yeah, he was, man. And he was very smart. Exactly. He was very calculated. He just kind of took away what you did best, you know. He just kind of imposed the way he wanted to fight. Kovalev had a good strategy the first time around. I remember even thinking Kovalev won that first fight. I remember even just watching Andre Ward's reaction, thinking like, yeah, Andre Ward thought that he lost that fight when they announced him. You know what I mean? But Tony didn't fight that way. He didn't fight tall, long, and stuff like that. So yeah. But yeah, bro, when I saw that shit and they had the shorts on the heavy bag, I was like, come on, bro, this dude, that's yeah. If anything, you're just letting him know where how low he needs to hit because he just went right back to it. Caleb Plant's fighting style reminds you of Andre Ward. Like I see what you mean, but Caleb's very kind of fast. I feel like maybe a little faster twitch than Andre Ward. Andre Ward kind of had timing, had very good timing. Caleb like just very darting, very like kind of, you know, wide stance. think he's a little faster than Ward, and he uses it to his advantage. Ward was just calculated, man. Ward was just calculated, just a calculated dude. Measured. He'd see what you were doing. He'd just disrupt it. Ward was fun, man. Ward was a fun fighter to watch, and I was happy when he took the Kovalev fights, because I remember kind of there was who did he fight that Bill, kind of that tune-up dude. What was the guy's name? Like Billy something. I don't remember, but it was like just real tune-up fights. I remember he had like some rough fights there for a while. And then he like was injured for a while. It was kind of it was like dulling out a little bit. I feel like he was kind of getting like lost in the shuffle just because of injury, and just I want to say there were like he didn't have a whole lot of like people around him that he could fight. And then when he moved up, it was respect, man. That was good stuff. What do you expect from Flip Herbich? Oh, you know what, guys? I got to answer that call. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, H Money, and everybody watching. And we'll see you on the next one. Appreciate you guys.